Anyway, so as all of you know by now, my name is Bashar Balleh. I just turned 28 a few days ago. Recently moved to Boise. Was living in Seattle, and before Seattle, I was living in New York, where I was there because I got accepted to Columbia University on a displaced person scholarship, which I will go back there later. So, I grew up in Syria in a city called Latakia. It's on the coast. It's actually also on the border with Turkey. So in 2011, as all of you know, the war started in Syria. Latakia was not very affected by the war, but it was kind of tiring because there was the military service thing that was hunting me the entire time, and I had also heart problems, like medical problem, and I cannot serve in the military. So before serving in the military, you do like a medical exam, which I did not pass. Like I can't serve in the military, but still they ordered me to serve. They're like, you're gonna die anyway, so just die for the military. Like, well, that's not cool. Anyway, I would say a year after the exam, which was like in 2014, I was supposed to serve. And then in 2014, before like few months before they were like I was called to like, okay, now you're doing it. I left Syria legally on an airplane to Turkey, from Syria to Beirut, from Beirut to Turkey, which was all good, but still. And I wanted to do it early so I won't have like so much legal troubles. I made it to Turkey. I was very like, I had no idea about how to be living outside your home, not just like outside your country. I've never spent a night outside of my parents' place. I was like my parents' boy. Like my breakfast will be next to my bed. Everything is very different. I woke up and I'm just completely lonely in a world that I have no idea about, and language that I have no idea about. Also, I lost my luggage when I arrived to Turkey in the bus. It's just like forgot it in the bus. So it was gone. I had nothing. Anyway, so my trip in Turkey, the beginning was fine. The first few months were fine. I was in Mersin. I was trying to like find myself, learn some Turkish, meet some people. And then I moved to Istanbul because I was told that in Istanbul you'll find better chances as a musician, you'll have more opportunities, which I did. And I found better opportunities. I was in Istanbul. I found this great job at that time. I was playing like live music in a restaurant, a very touristy restaurant. I don't know if y'all know Sultan Ahmed area in Istanbul. It's like very touristy. So I was playing there, doing live music in a restaurant, and then the owner of the restaurant, who was spending every day at the restaurant, he was the head of the Kurdish mafia in Istanbul. Little did I know, he was not a good guy, not at all. So, and also he hated Syrians, and slowly he was just like using me and abusing me more and more and more and more. I started working like 2 hours a day, and at the end of the first month, I was working 7 hours a day of like live music, which is not really possible for a musician. Like I can't play 7 hours one one shot. Like you can't do it. So I was fed up, and also he started taking my tips because he was like, "You're living way too far from the restaurant. I'm gonna find you a place next to the restaurant, but you're not taking any of the tips." Tips was the thing that I was working for. That place, I was making so much tips, but he just wanted to take them. And then besides that, every day he would put on the news, and he would look at like the Syrian news and like, look at Assad. He's killing all these people. They deserve it. Those assholes and stuff. Sorry, but that's what he said. So by the end, I was so fed up, and then I decided that like I'm done. I was literally working, playing, and he was just like talking to me, and then I took out my instrument, cursed him a lot in the restaurant in front of the people, and then I left. And then one day later, he called me and he said, "If you're in Istanbul, you will be killed." And he was not joking. After that, almost every day, his men were following me on the streets, and I was running from neighborhood to neighborhood and from place to place until I decided to go to Europe illegally. And also at that time, my like my the legal documents in Turkey were like expired. You know, like I didn't have my tourist visa anymore. It was expired. Everything was expired, so I didn't have chances to do legal thing action against him. So I tried to go to Europe. Um, my first attempt was from Izmir, which took me like 20 weeks of planning and like, okay, this smuggler is good, you know, you can rate the smugglers here. Unfortunately, you don't have like Yelp or Google Maps to like, oh, this smuggler has 4.5 stars. It's not like this, unfortunately. So we found a smuggler, and he was supposed to take us to Izmir, and then he put us in a spot they loaded us in one van. We were 51 people, and we were put in this van like chickens. I was not able to stand on both feet. I had only one space for one foot, and then the other my hand was on the ceiling of the van because otherwise I'm gonna fall down on the people. It was so rough, and this took 2 hours. So the van took us to the spot, the loading spot where we'll be on the boat. We got on the boat, and then the boat, I saw like holes in the boat that were like patched, which was not very good looking. And also the boat was leaving from like right next to a military area, which was very not promising too. Anyway, we decided we'll get on the boat because I can see Greece. It's not that far. So I was like, all right, that seems like it's gonna happen. So we got on the boat. About an hour later, the boat is very slow. I can swim faster. The boat is very slow. We're 27 people here. The rest of the people decided not to take the trip because the boat was way too small for the group. So me and 26 other people on the boat. 1 hour later, everything is fine. The water is very calm. There is nothing. We're moving slowly. It's fine. It's going fine. And then I see a big Navy ship, which I recently found an article about actually. Um, it's gonna be hard to find it now. Anyway, it was a Greek Navy ship that basically is protecting the border or whatever, but it's in the international water. It's very close to Turkey. Anyway, so they saw us. They sent a small boat, a small like fast boat or jet boat, whatever it's called, and this boat comes to our boat, completely destroyed our boat, our engine, and like they pinched the hole with like a knife, pinched the boat with a knife, and they just leave us and go. And that was terrifying because like people were okay, we're dead, and that's what I thought. Luckily, I was able to speak enough Turkish to convince the Turkish Coast Guard to come to rescue us, which was very, very hard to convince them because they were really angry at us, especially because there were a few people who does not really speak Turkish who called the Coast Guard before me, and the Turks, they have this, not all of them, but some of them. When you speak like stupid Turkish, let's say, or like Syrian accent Turkish, they get so mad, you know? They get like really angry at you. They can like punish you in the face. And that's what happened when those guys called the Turkish Coast Guard, and they said, okay, maybe 5, 6 hours later we will come by. This was the response from the Turkish Coast Guard. And I was like, all right, like we're done. We're screwed. We have no chance here. And then I called them, and they were still not nice. And then for some reason, somehow I got a phone number of a German NGO called Alarm Phone or Phone Alarm, one of the two. So I called them. I spoke to them. I explained what is going on. This is all like while we were drowning in the water. You know, like my phone is half in a plastic bag, half on my face. It's ridiculous. So I called them. I explained the situation. They called the Coast Guard, and then they came back to me, the NGO, and then the Coast Guard later called me, and they said, "Send me your location on WhatsApp." And thank God for the Turkish phone company. They had network in the middle of the water. I have no idea how, but it was. If it was not for WhatsApp location, we would be gone. You know, like I sent my location in the middle of the world. Like, here's my location. Come get me. Uber. Anyway, so they came. They got us. I was able to talk to them in a like very calm way. I did calm them. They actually, apparently there was one officer between the guards, and he was super nice. I was talking to him like, listen, I didn't like, we don't mean to hurt anyone. We don't mean to hurt ourselves, but we're looking for better opportunities, blah, 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 blah. And then I was trying to be like super friendly with him, like, oh, I'm sorry you're serving now. It's so hot. It was in Izmir. And I hope you'll get a day off soon. He was like, yeah, my day off soon is next week. It's going to be my wedding. I was like, I'm a musician. I will play in your wedding. I was like, yeah, bro. We started like just having fun. And then by the end, we were really like making a connection. He was getting us water and food. And then at the end, he asked me where am I staying, because usually when they found group like this, they just send them back to camps and like on the Syrian border. And that's what I didn't want, because if they do, we're gone. We're stuck there. We can't leave. And so he asked me where I'm staying, which hotel in Izmir, and I told him. He said, "Well, the bus will take you there. He'll drop you on top in front of the hotel. Don't worry." I'm like, "Well, that's great." Anyway, we get on the bus. The officer comes to the bus, and he was like, "You tomorrow shave your hair and beard, and come serve with us." And I was like, "Salute!" Like, wow, that was like the movies, literally. I just needed the soundtrack in the back. Anyway, so that was Izmir, and then after that, we tried again to take another boat, but from Bodrum, because apparently we found a better smuggler, which was not the case, because we went to Bodrum with we took a taxi to the spot, which was on a mountain. Like the taxi would leave us on the edge of a mountain, and then we have to go down to the like seaside. So we do that. The group is reunited. I'm like skipping some details, but it's not like the most important details. You know, I'm trying to go to like the important things. And anyway, so the group is united. We're ready to move. It's like a 3 miles hike. So we're hiking, and then all of a sudden there are like a group of, again, Kurdish mafia. I don't know. I was so lucky in Turkey with Kurdish mafia, even though most of my friends are Kurds in Turkey. You know, like my best friends in Turkey are Kurds, but also my biggest enemies are also Kurdish mafia. Anyway, so a group of Kurdish mafia, they stop us and they want us to pay them money to pass, which at that point I was like, so they asked me to translate. I was the one who was talking Turkish in the group again. They asked me to translate to the group like that we want 20 euros for every person to pass. Tell them that. And I was like, I don't speak Turkish anymore. I don't know how to say. I don't know how to say this. I can't translate. And then they started speaking in Kurdish. And then two of the people in the group were from Aleppo, and they're Kurds. So they did like communicate together. They translated, and everyone was like, all right, let's just pay and go. But for me at that point, I was like, I can't be more humiliated. Like I didn't grow up to be humiliated this much. I'd rather die at this point. Which what I like denied at that point. I was like, all right, I'm not paying, and I'm not like giving myself up. So what are we gonna do? So everyone in my group. So when they captured us, let's say in the middle of the mountain, some people were able to like escape. You know, like escape from the group, and they were gone. And two of my friends were the ones who were able to escape. So everyone paid. I was with the group, the Kurdish group. I was kidnapped at this point. I was like, they were okay. We're gonna take your kidneys. We're gonna look like what we can take from your body. Everything is good. They will be used for us. And they were just like trying to scare me. And like I can sense that they can't do any of these things, and they just want me to give them this 20 euros. But I was not doing that. It's not about the money at this point for me. It was about humiliation, and I don't want to do it anymore. So slowly, and also at the beginning, sorry, I missed this detail. At the beginning, they were saying that there are police, and one of them had his phone, and he was playing a phone, like recording on the phone that is like the police, what do you call it, talkie walkie, you know, like do 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 do, you know, like the radio, the police radio, and he was just playing a recording just over and over, like do 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 do. It's so stupid. Anyway, I told you, like, if you're a police, you know what? I love police. I want to do this. Just take me to the police station. I don't mind this. And they were not refusing to do that because they're obviously not police. And then police ended up coming. We were like yelling and being so loud in a like kind of far area from the city, but there was like some resorts around us. You know, Bodrum is very like tourist area. So some people apparently called the police that there's like noise in the middle of the mountain. They're questioning what is going on. So police came, the group ran away. I I was able to escape. And I was like, all right, going to the police, like, police, help me. And then the police were like, freeze. They thought that I'm from the group. And then I ran back to the mountain. And then I hid there for like until for 5 hours until there was like sunlight. And then I saw my friend. He was also hiding. Uh, at that point, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna do this anymore. Even though the group was by the boat, we had like a WhatsApp group by the boat and waiting. Okay, like everyone is going. It's done. You know, we can do it now. And I was like, nope, I'm not gonna do it anymore. I'm done. I can't. Like, I'm not gonna. After all these things that have been thrown, that I've been through by now, I'm gonna go to Europe, and then I'm gonna be in a camp, and then people will be telling me what I'm gonna do for the next 3 years of my life, and they will program me. Like, no, I'm not gonna do it anymore. So I decided to go back to Istanbul and build it my own way. I'm gonna do it my way. I'm not gonna be like told to do what they want me to do. And that's what I did. I had what's left of the money that I was planning to take me to like the whatever destination that I had, which was Germany at that time. I booked a flight back to Istanbul, and I went back to Istanbul with a backpack, and I had no money left, and all my friends were gone. And then I spent a week living in a park. I was homeless for a week. So I had a guitar that I sent with a British friend to Athens, and this British friend was supposed to be in Athens, and I was gonna make a fake Spanish ID when I get to Greece. You know, yeah, I had the plan. I had the entire plan. So this person had my guitar in Greece for a week until she got back. I was able to have my guitar, start playing on the street again, making every day like about 20, 30, 40 liras, which is enough to rent a bed in a hostel. And that's how I started. I was just like every day playing on the street, making enough money to rent a bed in a hostel. And then I stayed in the hostel for about 3 months. I became like one of the tenants there, like, or I lived there, which was fine actually. I was able to meet a lot of people, and this is how I actually started my path, my like how I started going up in Turkey. I started meeting people. I met my buddy Owen. So Owen is basically when I started my trip or my journey in Turkey of success. Let's say when I met Owen playing music on the street. He's a country music player from Florida, and he saw me on the street. He said, like, I really want to play with you. Please let me know whenever you can. So one day I had a gig from. So again, I was living in the hostel with the. God, I'm getting confused now. Getting tired. Sorry. I had a gig. I went to play there, and we never played together. We never had any practice. We never like nothing. So we just showed up there and like, all right, we're gonna play now for 4 hours. It was like a branch concert thing. He started playing country music. I joined him with Arabic Middle Eastern music. We were just like jamming, and it sounded wonderful. And that's how Country for Syria started, our band, which I don't know if any of you like looked at the music, but it's like all Balkan country music, Middle Eastern, Turkish, Arabic fusion all together. It's just like a mixture. This is how it started. It started like by complete coincidence. And also at that time, Owen and I were interested in like the NGO world, and we were like helping refugees. So this is what the point of the band. So we started the band. Every concert we had a cowboy hat. We would pass the cowboy hat. collect donations, and we would choose one of the families that we are working with. So at that time, I was able to be involved with like the NGO community and like know the families in need. So Owen and I, we always arranged like a list of families. Like, okay, so this family this month need electricity bills, dentist bill for this for their kid, etc., etc. So every week we had two shows actually. So we actually were able to help more than 60 families during our time in Turkey, which was great. Anyway, so this is about like what we were able to do with the humanitarian and helping others. But Country for Syria actually helped me with everything. So coming back to Istanbul after trying to go to Europe and having Country for Syria, this is everything became related for me. I was involved with Country for Syria. Country for Syria gave me so many connections. I was able to have connections at the American embassy because I was playing at all shows for the American embassy. I played for 4th of July 3 years in a row in all places in Turkey, Izmir, Ankara, Istanbul, uh, the, what do you call it? The American General Counsel was my student. I was giving her cooking lessons. This is all through like me knowing the American consulate. Her husband was my guitar student. I was spending almost every day at their place. We're like just hanging out, and this was like the best thing that helped me to get my visa here to America. So yeah, also through Country for Syria, of course, I met my wife, and this is the main reason I'm here in America now. Uh, um, we met in Istanbul 2017. We got married after 1 month of meeting, which was great, and we're still very happy about this. And we're actually living now with her at her like grandma's place. This is her grandma's place. Okay, so let's get back. Turkey, Country for Syria. Country for Syria led to contacts, American embassy. I got married. What else? So the point is, after I got married, I'm gonna like go back to like racism and these things as a displaced person. Anyway, in Turkey, uh, after I got married and I had the contacts at the Syrian at the sorry not the Syrian embassy at the American embassy, it was way easier for me to have to acquire my visa. Not easy, but like easier than other people. And also like the interview officer at the in my interview for the visa, she was like, oh my god, I was in your show for the consulate, I love your music, and I'm so sorry I can't give you the visa because you're banned. This is literally what she said. Like, if it was me, I would just issue you the visa. Like, I would love to, but I can't. Like, the government won't let me. So you will have to go through administrative processing, which took me 4 months, which is very fast for like people in my case. It usually takes year, 2, 3, depends. But 4 months, it's like very fast. And the reason is my contacts at the embassy. So after I got my visa, was able to make it to America. And also before I got my visa, I applied to Columbia University to their displaced person scholarship, and I got accepted like immediately, which was I was not expecting it at all. I applied because it was for free, and if it was not for free, I would never apply. But I was like, it's for free. Why not? Let's try. I applied. I got accepted, and they offered me everything. But I was not able to go. But I still because still didn't have my visa. And then it was the case for actually 2 semesters. I was in the visa process for 2 years, and then after the interview, I waited for a month. So I waited and waited and waited, and then after I got my visa, I was in New York, and Columbia University is the main reason we went to New York actually, because we did not want to go to New York. I actually hate New York so much. New York is like the worst place on earth. Sorry if anyone there is living in New York. I'm sorry. They didn't want to hear the feelings. So we got the New York Columbia University canceled the program because they were changing buildings. That's what they say. And they said, oh, it's okay. You can just pay $70,000 a year if you want. Like, what are you, you're like, you gave a displaced person a scholarship to study in your school, and then you tell them like, you know what, you're still accepted, but you gotta pay the money. It's fine. It's so stupid, you know. And I was so disappointed, especially because I was not able to get my certificate from Syria. I was not able to. I didn't have time to finish. Anyway, left New York immediately after I knew that Colombia is not a thing anymore. Went to Seattle. Seattle is a beautiful place, expensive, and then here to Boise. All right, so now I'm gonna take a small break while you guys are asking me about anything you want.
I guess I'll go first. First of all, your story is amazing. It just blew my mind. It's not only a story of strength and courage, but also the power of language and music for survival. And that is just incredibly admirable. And my respect for all of your journey. I can't even imagine how that was. I have a lot of questions, so I'm just gonna go for one and maybe like someone else can jump in.
Okay.
Yeah. Which one should I ask? Wow. Okay. So you were talking about how there's a big NGO community in that space, and for people who are interested in getting more involved, which NGOs were the best that you worked with and that you recommend us to look into?
Okay. So here's the thing. I did work for NGOs in Istanbul, and I did support the message. Not all of them are very helpful. Some of them are very destructive, unfortunately, because when you have someone who is telling you, I will answer about which one is the best, but to explain my point, when you have someone who's telling you like, oh, I'm so sorry, your situation must be like terrible. I know you can learn now and you can work, but no, sit. I'm gonna give you money. I'm gonna give you the rent. I'm gonna give you the bills. And then this person, this refugee who knows nothing better than this, who's like, all right, then I think I am a refugee. So refugee became an excuse for so many people not to do anything, because NGOs made them feel like this. And this is actually like a crisis that is bigger than like the immigration crisis. You know, it's terrible. It's huge. I was working for an NGO where I had someone who's a father of like 5 kids, sitting in his home smoking hookah all the time. I was like, we have no money. Like, what are you doing at home? Get out and work. So what I didn't like about NGOs is they did not focus as much on like improving these people and like getting them education, and like this person wants to be, I don't know, like anything he wants, so like get him the lessons, get him the private lesson, whatever. But it's when someone is, don't give me the fish, teach me how to do fishing, you know. This is the point. And to answer which one is a very good NGO, Small Projects Istanbul is I would say #1 in Turkey, because they really do like a real job. And you have Project Lift. This is I work for both of them actually. So they do completely different things. Project Lift does music, art, and movement therapy for refugee kids who are like, they have psychological damage from the war. And that job was actually very tough, because I saw some kids and they were terrified. It's so sad. But I do like their message, because it's just like pure straight message, like, all right, we're helping these people in these ways, and there is the result done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
These are great. I'll look into them. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
No, thank you so much for telling your story. Small Projects Istanbul is fantastic. I actually met Rahaf a little while ago. I don't know if you ever crossed.
Oh, Rahaf is
yeah, she's fantastic, and like the team out there is just great. And I know that there's people like you that are the lifeblood of the org too. But so one of the things that I think that's really helpful for our students to understand too is, what was your experience coming to the States and like coming to the US? You mentioned like New York, like you mentioned not liking New York, and like half the people here I think are New Yorkers or like in New York. So but we're kind. But just talk a little bit. You've seen kind of New York, Seattle, Idaho, all of these different parts of the U.S. So kind of just talk a bit about your experience being Syrian and coming to the U.S., especially in this particular political moment, the Muslim ban, everything else domestically here in the U.S. It'd be great to hear more about that.
So it is actually very interesting because when I came to America the first time, it was not this time. I came to America when I was with the band, and I got like a performance visa, and we toured on the East Coast. We toured like the entire East Coast, like from north until the very south, and then went back. And the tour was November 2016. So it was like a few days before the elections. And it was funny because I was in America while Kat, my wife, was in Turkey. And she didn't know what is going on in America. And I got back to Turkey and I told her, like, Kat, Trump is winning. Because the amount of Trump signs that I saw was unbelievable. So my like how I saw America when I came on tour here, I actually faced racism that I was not aware of. I didn't know, but like Owen, he was with me. So once we went inside a market and I had my backpack on. So the cashier told me like, "Oh, sorry, sir, you cannot get in with your backpack." I was like, "Oh, okay, sir, I'll put it here." And then Owen got so mad because he know what does that mean. Because he actually had a backpack and like so many other people had backpacks, like from our band, they were like inside the store with backpacks, but I was the only one to be pulled aside and like, "Oh, sorry, you cannot get with your backpack." And for me, like, I'm so innocent, I don't know how racism works in America. It's like different plate, different taste. So it was interesting. And that was actually in Bethlehem, in Pennsylvania, I guess, somewhere north still. But yeah, a lot of Trump signs. It's very interesting for me as a Syrian, like the infrastructure of America after living in Turkey. So, America is a first world country, Turkey is a third world country, Syria is a third world country. But when you come to America, you don't see that at all. Like, I'm not trying to say bad things about America, but when I landed in New York, sorry, New Yorkers again, when I landed in New York and I saw the amount of trash around the sides, like for me, I lived in Turkey for 5 years. I'm like, all right, I want to have an upgrade in my life. Things are gonna get better. I went to New York. It was terrible. Also, maybe it's the neighborhood. I was living in Washington Heights, so maybe not the entire of New York is the same. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. It was terrible. Like I felt like I was living in a big toilet. Sorry. It was smelly all the time. There's like waste everywhere. I was not appreciating it. I mean, the subway trips were not fun also. Anyway, but so racism wise, yeah. Racism wise in America, I felt the plate is bigger, so it's not like very pointed at me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel that someone on the street is like looking at me like saying, "Oh, Arab," or like, "Oh, Syrian." But this would always happen in Turkey because there's like so many of us in Turkey. The group of Syrian is very big in Turkey, so there's like such a huge focus on the Syrian population in Turkey, and like the racism you can feel. It is for sure as a Syrian refugee, it is better in America on like so many different levels. If we're talking about like life quality, less racism towards me. You know what I mean? It's definitely America has more racism than most of the countries that I know of, but it's definitely I feel it less because I feel I'm a part of way bigger community here. So like, oh, we have each other. The community is very big. Not like we are 10 people and we're being discriminated. So this feels different. What else? I'm sorry, I'm like getting off the way.
No worries at all. And that was excellent. And I'm sure other people have questions too. So
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot to talk about. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, kind of building off of that. Hi, my name is Alexis. Thank you so
Hi.
much, yeah, for just sharing your
Of
story.
course. Thank you for listening, guys.
Of course, too. Yeah. And I think, too, your criticisms of America are definitely valid, and we absolutely do the same thing. So I hear you on a lot of that. I'm actually born and raised in Florida, but go to school in New York. So I kind of also have your perspective a bit. But I guess I'm wondering, you mentioned like your bandmate was from Florida, right?
Yeah.
And I was wondering that, like, as you were touring Turkey and both the US, like what people's responses were like to like both of you kind of as a duo.
That's actually very interesting. So in Turkey, the response, this is what happened in Turkey. When we started having our shows, we had three groups of like the audience was always a three group audience. We had the Turks, we had Syrians, and we had expats. So what would happen is when we have an English song, expats would like yay, and then we'd have a Turkish song like Turkish like yay, and then when you have the Arabic song and the Arabs were like way. It's so funny. You would see like three different groups like enjoying different parts, but then slowly as we a band got better with like mixing the songs, and then how the people getting used to other like types of music with their music. So we started actually having like one song that has Turkish, English, Arabic, and Kurdish, sometimes Spanish. Like we had so many languages in the band. And then the three groups in the audience became really one. And actually, it's so funny. We had like maybe 10 marriages happened because of the band shows. We used to have a lot of shows, and people were having a lot of fun, you know? So it was crazy. I mean, I get married through the band. Owen kind of also got married through the band. Three or four of my friends, girls and guys, also get married through the band. Most of them are in America now. It's insane. So the reaction in Turkey at the beginning was kind of sore, but then people started getting together. We had a really big fan base in Turkey. It was funny. In America, every place has different reactions completely. In New York, people were really enjoying the like oh that's so elegant, like so good. And then you go down in the middle, people would start like criticize specific songs, like oh this song is like oh it doesn't have the right political message. Oh that song is like huh, maybe okay. So you would have different reactions. The best reaction we had was in DC, in Washington DC, because we had like a Q&A. It was we didn't plan to have a Q&A. So Ryan Harvey, the musician who gave me this T-shirt, it was like a joint show, us and him, and he's the one who arranged the show. Uh, he spoke about his story in Greece, and like he spoke about the refugees and stuff. And it was the first time for me hearing the story about like people trying to cross the ocean and stuff. And then when we finished the show, I start talking like, "Hey guys, I want to talk to you," like talking to the audience, like I want to share my story actually. And then I told them my story, but it was way shorter at that time. And then at the end, I told them like, the point of me telling you this is just I want you to appreciate everything you have. Like you guys can talk to your family today if you want to like go visit your family. Like you know what, I'm booking a flight and visiting my family. There's a lot of things that people hear and so many other places in the world, like you have so many options, you have so many ways to do things, but so many other people does not have these things. So like just appreciate these things, you be a happier person. Just like feel it all the time. You can, you have it. So I did this talk and like I was crying, people were crying, the bandmates were crying, everyone was crying. I made it so dramatic, but it was fun. In the South, the reactions were not as good. Florida was good because Owen was from Sarasota, Florida, Sarasota. So he knew which places to pick, so he picked the good places. So we went like, we had pretty interesting. So what I liked about America versus Turkey, in America, people would listen to the lyrics and like, oh, this is interesting sentence you say in here. Can you explain it to me? But in Turkey, people are, I mean, I'm included. I don't when I'm listening to music in English, I don't listen to the lyrics. I listen to the like harmony. So, so in Turkey, we're like, they never ask about what is the meaning of the song or the lyrics, which is also interesting. So this is like the musicology difference between nations, let's say, and languages. But yeah, this is how their actions were.
I want to ask you a question that you're lucky enough as a Syrian who's come to the States, gone back to Syria very recently,
Hmm.
that you might be able to give us some guidance or insights, if any, about whether the carnage is going to recede. Is Assad going to be challenged? We're hearing some stories for the first time about dissent and unhappiness within the ruling clique. Could you tell us anything about Syria that might be news for us? Well, anything would be news for us.
Well, the city.
When did you go back?
I went back in like at the end of February, so it was like kind of the beginning of COVID, and it was like not a big thing still, really there. So I had like 5 days in Turkey. I was like, oh, life is beautiful. And then went to Syria. I was like, oh yeah, touristy stuff. And then I went there with my wife and my mother-in-law, which is insane. You know, like my mother-in-law. I was not seeing my mother-in-law going anywhere that area, and then she decided to go with us to Syria, which is I really love and respect. And she got to see the culture, the food. She was so happy, and she's vegan. I mean, you can imagine. But apparently, Syria is very good for vegan people. She had like the best vegetables, she said. So I'm happy. I mean, I agree too. Anyway, so the situation in Syria, it is so sad. Uh, I there. I mean, I don't know if you heard about this. There are big rumors in Syria that they're saying that Assad actually won't run at all for the next presidential elections. They're saying he's not gonna run, and they're saying that there's someone else who's gonna be appointed by Russia, and people are hoping that he like this will change. You know, like people are not talking like, oh yeah, let's hopefully he will god, I can't just say, you know, it's scary for me to talk about Syria even here in America. Like what if they're listening to me now? What are they going to do to my family? So this is something about Syrians. um but now I know that nothing gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, people are exploding slowly. Even Assad supporters, they're like, all right, we're done. So slowly, the number of Assad supporters that they're turning against him, it's growing. There are a lot of internal fights between Assad family and other big Alawites family in Syria, like fights with like guns and stuff. You know, like areas fights. So it is going bad. It is not getting better. It's going like terribly bad. Um, I don't see Syria surviving in this case for like more than 1 or 2 years. Something gonna happen. People are actually hoping that Russia will take over. Like Russia is better than Assad, which is interesting. The dollar is just like crashing the Syrian currency. Everything is expensive. If you don't have like 4 or 5 jobs, you can't survive. Um, Now people just like my family included, they don't want to live anymore. It's very depressing there. It's super depressing. Like no one is having one good thing in their life. Food is not affordable, electricity, water, everything. It's becoming really like a starvation. So it's hopefully it's get better. It'll get better.
I just want to ask you about state of fact that students will not probably know, that you actually had a relationship with this program, the Ibrahim program, and did some work with Josie in her project. This is a University of California, Berkeley student who actually bought rather cheaply, with some financial assistance, a Volkswagen bus, and decided to travel in this Volkswagen bus and make it their house, where she lived for several years, traveling around the country, doing discussions between Americans, some of whom never had met a Muslim, and people who were in the Middle East that she knew, and to set a conversation that would begin a communication. And Josie has been doing this project for a couple of years, and you actually helped her and worked with her for a short period. So there's an interesting connection here between the Ibrahim program and yourself.
Yeah, it is interesting. Also, I don't know if you know, but you know Owen, the co-founder of the band. He was also like he knew Josie before he knew me. So I kind of actually met Owen through Josie. Kind of, you know, it's Istanbul is an interesting place, and if y'all didn't go, it's I think it's like the #1 place to visit once COVID is gone, which is hopefully will happen soon. um,
Hi, Mark. Thank you for sharing that because I remember the story you were mentioning about Josie when we were in, I think we were in Dubai at that time. But thank you so much, Bashar, for sharing your story. That's
thank you guys
so
for listening.
amazing. I want to say Eid Mubarak as well because I
Oh,
know
thank
it's
you.
going on still. I know you you mentioned how you went to Colombia. So I just wanted to ask about your experience as a student navigating through Colombia as a refugee and like kind of the resources that you had accessible to you or maybe that you didn't have access to that you wish you had for other maybe refugees trying to integrate into, you know, college life, because I know that can be very difficult for a lot of people, whether it be language or just education as well.
Well, it's interesting that you asked. So I got to New York. I was like, all right, I'm starting this semester, and that was like I was 3 months away from the beginning of the semester. It was like the November, September. It was supposed to start or something like I can't remember the months. I'm terrible with dates. And then 1 month before I start, you know, like 1 month before I start, like, oops, sorry, scholarship is gone. Figure out. And this is what happened. You know, like I was not able to actually to attend anything, and this was the only thing I got from Colombia. Like, oops, scholarship is gone. And then I went to meet the what do you call it, financial advisor or something like this, and he was like, "Go to community college." And I was like, "What? Really? Like, you're telling me that?" He was like, "You don't have a chance here. Just go to community college." He was a terrible human being. And then I went to the program director, and I told her, uh, if this is the way it's gonna happen, I had like she know like at that time we had a lot of email correspondence, and she knows that I have media connections. You know, like I have people in Al Jazeera and all these people, NPR, CNN. Like I did pieces with all these places, and I told her like, if this is gonna be the case, I'm taking it up. You know, like you want to make it public, let's make it public. And she was like, no, 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 please don't do this. We'll figure something out. But by then, I was like, I can't stay in New York anymore. Even Columbia will give me a scholarship, but I don't think they would anyway. So I told her like, listen, we're gonna keep this not public, but you're gonna have to give me my deposit back, which they did, because I had to pay deposit like a $500, and for me at that time, $500 is like a year's salary in Turkey. You know, like I'm not just gonna oh yeah just take it. So I got my deposit back, and then we left New York. But yeah, my experience in my Colombia was terrible. I really don't like that school and administration. They're horrible people. Not for probably not for all the people.
I have another question. If anyone wants to go, please also jump in. So there has been a call for special tribunals to investigate war crimes and mass atrocities in Syria, specifically like the ICC or like courts in Europe that are able to create accountability in some way. And I'm wondering, you as a Syrian, what would you like to see done legally, like in terms of accountability?
To like against the government.
Yes, if you're able to speak about that in Zoom. If you
No,
feel
yeah, it's fine. I don't care. Honestly, uh, I don't think this is meaningful at all. You know, like, oh yeah, the European Union is investigating the Syrian government. Oh, more sanctions. Then what? Like sanctions, it's only killing the people. Sanctions, if you like, if you go to Syria, if anyone go to Syria and they will look at the government people, they have the Lamborghinis, they have the like gigantic houses, mansions, and stuff, and only people are the ones who are suffering to get the bread. So sanctions are not doing anything to the government. It's just like killing the people. So if the only thing that can change Syria is, at the beginning it was possible with like peaceful way, but now I really think it's not peaceful way cannot do anything. You need to like take out this government, and then at this point it has to be forced, unfortunately. And that's why people are actually preferring Russia, because they know like, oh, if Russia will take this land, probably Russia will take care of this land. You know, they would like build better infrastructure. They will like make the people happy so people can work. You know, when government think about other things other than themselves. So yeah, that's what I think.
Are there any things that you can tell us that you're going to be immediately performing or that you have on the horizon? Are you going to be working exactly where you're living now, or are you going to do some other work in the West Coast or anywhere else?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I will be performing in places anytime soon, but I will be composing and doing more like compositions and songs, definitely more. I recently got like, I've kind of finished my musical instrument set. I got the cello, so now I have like all strings and like everything that I can record by myself. So I got the cello, violin, piano, guitars and ouds and bass and stuff. So like I have the band, which is me here. Uh, I'm hoping I'll be able to do private lessons, because it is hard for me now to find education opportunities. Like it is hard with money wise, and it is hard like, because I actually, yeah, I do music, but here in America I don't know what are the steps. Like, yeah, I want to do compositions. I'm not professional, you know, like I do good job maybe, but I want to do it like better way, but I don't know from where to start. Like, do I have to take course, what course it is, you know, like I have a network problem in America for sure. Like my network is very small. I don't have the connections, and it's taken me a long time to figure these things out, because again, network is very small. But hopefully, I'll be doing more music.
Well, I want to thank you for sharing the time with us and giving us a chance to hear a real living story that was very moving.
Well, thank you.
And actually, I feel as I've gotten to know you somewhat when you were in Seattle.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I hope we were able to spend more time together, but yeah, Seattle
well,
is a little.
I think one of the things that we all can think about is creating a network for you.
Thank
And there are a lot of people in the program that probably can do that. And there are some names I think that I've already said I should be sending to you for the contacts. That was Seattle, but that doesn't mean it's too far away to build a meaningful connection with people in the music industry, in the academic world. So I think one of the things we'll all, and I personally, make a new venture to see if I can have some connections made for you. We really
I
appreciate
really appreciate it.
sharing your life with us.
Thank you so much.
And
That means a lot to me, honestly. And this kind of things is like the thing that warms my heart after coming to America. Again, like America is a good place to grow, but it's really hard place to what do you call it, to grow in a community. It's really hard to be part of a community, especially from the Middle East, where like community and the culture is very warm. But here, you know, like it's not as warm, let's say. So it's interesting. Um, you know, I don't know, like being refugee anywhere is different, and from person to person it's different. Luckily I had the skill of music, and I was able to survive. There are people who does not have the required skill at the specific time to be able to survive. So I consider myself one of the very, very lucky people. I know I'm super lucky. Like everything I have now, I have very like comfortable life. It, yeah, I did have to like go through hells to get here, but again, there's luck, and there's like also believing that something is gonna happen, something good gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, people like you and all the people who are watching now, and they're just like investing this 1 hour and listening to something that means something, that means a lot actually. You know, like people like you guys can change things, change the people around them, change the perspective, and that's how we can change. You know, that's how we can. Some people ask me like, what do you think can happen in America? How can we change things in America? Like, you guys are trying to change the government. Don't try to change the government. Like, honestly, like I think about the elections here, it's stupid. Like Biden or Trump, they're both worse than each other, honestly. No matter who wins, they're gonna always in America. It's like it's a corporate place. You know, like they're gonna support the big companies. What you can do is like help your family, help your friends, and their friends they will help their friends. It's just like start from small circles. But you know, you do what you gotta do. And thank you all for listening and sticking here. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
if anyone wants like to reach out, please feel free. I think you have my name, so it's my name everywhere, social media. I don't know. I mean, yeah, just reach
I'll,
out. Any question, anything.
I'll send out so all students will have access to your music and your jam sessions and the bio and links. Thank you very much again.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye, everybody.
Everyone.